Great.
Well, I appreciate all you guys being on this morning. I know you could be anywhere in the world, but you're here. We appreciate it. So do things a little bit different today. I was going to have a guest speaker on from one of the carriers, but he's actually on a plane right now. So we're going to try to get that done here in the next Friday or the Friday after. But I wanted to take some time today, go over a couple of things, and then let you guys know there's a couple of things from PhoneBurner that I think are important for you guys to know. Whether you use PhoneBurner or not will help you be more efficient and effective if you decide to do so. And then there's a couple changes to Americo that I want to make sure you guys are aware of as we move forward. So from that perspective, again, very humbled and fortunate to be a part of this team. Appreciate all that you guys do. And we'll go from there. So those of you guys, I hate to do this to you again, but I think it's important. After the leaders share good news, we're just going to go into convention. I'm going to mention Dave Anderson and mention a book that he's written. And we'll talk about that here. I won't talk about it twice because I'm bad about that. But let's go ahead and start. Tim, you seem to be one of the most vibrant this morning. We'll go ahead and go to you for good news.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We got you.
All right. Good deal. Yeah, I'm driving. No, man, another great day up here in good old Belleville, not Missouri, Illinois. Beautiful drive today. But no, just a big shout out to all the people that came in and wrote as a result from the convention. And sorry that some of you guys' flights got canceled. It was an awesome event. And like Corey was talking about, everybody's got to get that book, Intentional Mindset by Dave Anderson. Because again, this business is all about getting better every single day. And success starts with the 6 inches between your ears. So anyway, just excited for what's shaking, and look forward to hearing what everybody's got to say about the convention.
Absolutely. All right, GP, we'll go to you, man. Thanks, Tim.
Good morning, everyone. Just had a fantastic time at the convention. First of all, good news. I'm so proud of Brandy, how she's growing. I saw and I don't know if Corey, I don't want to steal your thunder. I know he's probably going to show it. The listing that Todd Hausberger put up with I guess the first few weeks of this month's numbers, and good to see Brandy's name in there at number 7 for her. And she's been working hard, but she's growing. And I keep telling her, I said, keep going. Those numbers will get bigger. So congratulations to her. It's helping her be able to help meet her needs and goals with her family and for herself. So wonderful time in Florida. I am so glad that I went. I was there from the first day to the last, and just learned so much. Like Tim Dog said, that was great to see all of you guys for the first time and shake hands and hugs and all of that. So so you guys are actually real people, real great people in person, and you guys look better in person than on video. But Dave Anderson was fabulous. The carriers, that was the very key thing for me, the carriers saying that FFL is their number one client. We wrote 198 million with Americo, between 60 and 80 million with Mutual of Omaha. And I called somebody else who was works for Mutual of Omaha, and they was like, yeah, that's not my case. That's not my client, but FFL is the top client. So that makes me feel good about being on this team and being in this organization, because we're with the best. We are with the best bonuses, the best carriers, the best coverages, the best everything. And they're even creating policies and plans and all that stuff for us. So if you had any doubts, if you had any concerns, if you were scared, this is the place to be, and this is the team to be on. So thanks a lot, Corey, and it was great meeting you guys.
Well said, Gregory. And I'm going to try to save my comments here for the end, but man, very well said. I think the event was very well attended. In all honesty, there wasn't 15,000 people there. I'm sure you guys probably saw things like that on social media, but there was very easily 7,000 to 8,000 people there, easily. It was a great event. Having it at that ballpark, I'm like, man, we're going to look like it's going to look smaller than what it actually is, but I think it allowed us to spread out. There was space at the top, around the top of the stadium, for you to be able to go and meet people. You had Hall of Famers that were walking around: Sean Mike, Andrew Taylor, Paul, Mark Mead, Brian Mendenhall. These guys are just walking around the top of the pavilion. I know some people get starstruck by those guys, but You walk up, talk to them, ask them questions. That's what happens at these seminars and conventions and everything else. So I'll say the rest of mine for the end. Mark, I don't know, man. We're beaming right now, so you're up, brother. Keep looking at you. Hopefully, oh, okay. I thought you froze up for a second.
Your feed broke up for their second.
Okay.
Mine may have too. So anyway, good news. Well, bad news and good news. Unfortunately, Ryan and Luke Valet weren't able to make it last week because of weather and plane cancellations, but they set that aside and just went out and run business instead. So I'm real proud of Luke getting his first deal done. I think 2 maybe, but it's just another exciting addition to our Genesis team. You know, true professionals. Coming on board, just hanging snowing back in Missouri, but like Gregory said, it was great to see some people in person, especially Gregory. I've been wanting to meet him in person since I've been here, so it was great to have some conversations and break some bread with him and have a good time. You know, just relaxing and hanging out after the events. But you know, as far as the event, it was fantastic. Just real people like us doing their thing. I mentioned this in a meeting the other day, but you know, FFL is not an all-star team of former CEOs or, you know, doctors and PhDs at the top of their game that are, you know, doing things that we can't. It's just regular people. There's construction workers, there's social worker. Anybody can do this if you just work hard. And that's what I got out of it. And that's what I've known from day one. If you work hard, you're just like everybody else. You're going to be treated the same. You can have the same opportunities. And then taken back from convention, it is amazing to see what an impact we are having on the industry. Gregory already mentioned it, but there's carriers literally creating custom products for us to basically respond to what we've asked for. I know Tim has been working with Transamerica, Tim Belo, to nudge them into, you know, making things a little easier for us to write their business, and they listen. Some of the other carriers have already launched their stuff because of feedback they've gotten from us. So it's just amazing to see where we're at now and where we're going, not only as Team Genesis.
We'll give another couple.
You know, in the big picture with FL.
Thanks, Mark.
Okay. Was I breaking up?
Yeah,
Okay.
You're right. We got probably 80% of what you said,
Okay.
but no, yeah, thank you. And then let's go with Renee. Good morning, Renee.
Morning, guys. So I'm mainly excited to see how our team is growing and how our leaders are working with the new agents coming on and helping them to get off on a good start. And the motivation and support that we provide each other as a team, I think, is really critical, and it makes this journey all the more worthwhile. And I think, you know, those of you that weren't able to make it to convention, you know, things happen in life, but you always get something out of it when you go to an event like that. There's always going to be something that speaks to your spirit, speaks to your work ethic, speaks to, you know, the specific job that we're doing, serving people. You know, how can we serve better each day? What can we do in our day-to-day that will make us better tomorrow? And sometimes just the simplest things somebody else might be doing in their day-to-day. And just by going to one of these events and saying, hey, how do you dial? Or what type of routine do you do as far as your appointments versus your door knocks? And how do you recruit people? You know, what do you say? And getting ideas about the terminology that other people use. I mean, I got some things like from Eric Hamadi that I never even would have thought of phrasing it like that. But just talking to him for a couple of minutes gave me like a total epiphany. So I think it's really important, whether it's a big event or something smaller and more intimate, just get yourself to whatever ones that you can, because you're going to benefit no matter which one you go to. I'll throw a plug for my area next Thursday, the 17th, if anybody can get out here. It's going to be just outside of Kansas City, and it's the Road to Hall of Fame event. I'm going to be there, and I mean, if anybody else can make it this way, I think it's going to be good. Dave Witchard will be there, and some other people are going to be speaking. Bobby Bridges from America will be there, and yeah, I think it's going to be a good time. So everybody else pretty much said everything else. Intentional Mindset by Dave Anderson, that was amazing, and I'm definitely all over that book.
Thanks, Renee. Appreciate it. And then last but certainly not least, Mr. Salazar.
Hey guys, yeah, no, 100%. I agree 100% with what Renee said. The convention was like crazy good and stuff like that. So for everybody out there actually that was able to make it out, you know, you definitely took a lot from it. I took a lot from it, and things of that nature, and stuff like that. And I'm actually still under the weather a little bit, but no, I just, you know, I'm glad everybody's, you know, doing well and stuff. And like what I always say every week and stuff like that, you know, embrace change. And they were talking about that at the convention as well, like embrace change, because if you don't, then nothing gonna change. So, you know, different things like that. So stay well, y'all.
Awesome. I tell you guys very briefly, I can't say it any better than our leadership just did. And then anybody else that went, I know, Paul, there were several of you guys that were there. We'd like to hear your input as well if you want to. I'm not going to force you. I do think it's important, though, for people to hear. But what I got out of the convention, if I had to sum everything up in a phrase, it's common people doing uncommon things. That's why FFL is growing the way that it is. You know, you can say whatever you want. I mean, you guys, I mean, people outside of FFL, you hear all kinds of things. If you do the work and you consistently do the work, you'll get the results. It's just that simple. If you buy the leads, you make the dials, you're selfless, you go see people and realize that each one of those lead sheets is not just a lead, it's a person, it's a family that fill that information out, regardless of how silly they may be sometimes when you call them. If you keep it that simple, this job becomes much easier. The process of the in-home and those kind of things, like you heard Renee talking, like she picked up something that completely changed her paradigm about how she's going about her business now from Eric. There's all kinds of people there that if you walk up to any of them and ask them questions, they're willing to be very open and honest with you and tell you how they're doing things, because they know most people won't do it. It's just that simple. So, Paul, I'm staring at you. I don't mean to put you on Front Street here, but I know you don't talk much. You're very observant, and I would love to hear kind of what you got out of convention.
Sure. Well, I mean, I thought it was a great convention, just so much information. I guess the point I would make is that, and I've been to a number of these conventions over the years, I think it's super important to come back from a convention like this and pick out, 1, 2, 3 items that you will definitely 100% incorporate into your business that's different than what you were doing before you went to the convention. So I picked out 2 things, and that's really all I'm thinking about outside of everything I learned and books. And I actually ordered the Tom Hagna, $99 package. I'm excited to get that. And maybe this Dave Anderson book, but I came back saying, okay, I have got to stick with my Monday, Thursday dial days from my exact specified start time to my exact specified end time. And even this week, I was tempted because I was run a little slow early in the week. And I said, well, maybe I should go run appointments on Thursday and, skip the dial session or do partial dial session. I said, no, that's what you came back from the convention. That's one of your 2 things. So I stuck with the plan and was down at the office yesterday and dialed into the evening. And lo and behold, I got like 3 or 4 appointments on Saturday, which I've never had that many appointments on a Saturday. So anyways, that's my one thing. And then the other thing was to get, for me at least, to get more heavily involved in the annuities and the IUL programs. And so I'm starting kind of a personal campaign to learn more and, present those on a regular basis, ask the two questions that they talked about, that Sean Ruggiero talked about. And so anyways, that would be my message to everyone. Not that you need to adopt those 2 things, but when you go to these conventions, you have to come back and say, okay, I'm going to make 1, 2, or 3, non-negotiable changes to improve my business.
Well said, Paul. And it's funny, that was one of the things that I adjusted on mine, because I would do Mondays, Thursdays. Sometimes I'd be on I'd have an agent call and all those kind of things and use that as an excuse not to. And we had new agents that I'm working on every Monday and Thursday. They have to be at the office. We had a great time training. Paul, we saw you there. You came in and said hello, but trying to get better. And this whole thing is about schedule. I can tell you guys this, you guys run your own businesses. I mean, Velocity has 9,000 people, I think now in Slack. And let's say about half of those are active. There's 50, 60 people in the dial session every week. I mean, it's crazy. That many people, it's less than 1% of everybody that's on the dial days. And the things you hear on there and the things you're going to pick up from these guys that are consistently down on the phone, it's just immeasurable. I mean, it's like getting a college education in a matter of a few hours with this stuff. So thank you, Paul. Brian, I'm going to put you on the spot, brother. You turn your camera on, so I'm going to get you. Thanks, Paul. You're on mute, Brian.
How's that?
Yep, that's better.
Well, biggest thing, two quick things. I won't be as long as I usually am. I think I'm at the point where I'm at in my career here doing this is product knowledge more. I'm ready to expand and be able to use other carriers and just become more of a student of what we actually have in the options. For one, but the biggest thing for me was the mindset from Dave Anderson, among other things. But to get there, using that mindset and just moving.
Theo, please mute yourself.
But that was the main thing. And then like waiting in line, I met a couple from Auburn and met a gentleman from Hawaii that we talked to for the whole time in line and just, picked up some things from them and just rubbing elbows with some of the top people. And like you said, they're just regular people, so really for me, mindset over anything.
Appreciate it. That's funny. That's everybody seemed to Dave Anderson clearly was the the front runner there, even over Mr. Wonderful. So appreciate you sharing, Brian. Appreciate you being there as well. Sure. We know a lot of people had weather things and all that kind of other stuff. Amy, I'm going to put you on the spot from an administration standpoint. What you got out of the meeting? I know you bought Dave Anderson's book, I think, before we even left the stadium. So floor's yours.
Yeah, I did buy that and I've been listening to it. I'm probably about a quarter of the way through and it's just good. It's just things that that you just forget to do or you don't make it intentional to do. It's definitely worth reading or listening to. But from the convention, other than Dave Anderson, I think just on top of what everybody else has said, just meeting everybody in person, hearing those that even from an admin perspective, but hearing agents who, were just having normal jobs to now they're making, helping so many families. And I really can't put it into words. It was a great time, great event. A lot of people, good to have those dinners with our team since we don't get to see each other very often, or we never really get to see each other than on meetings. But I got to meet all the other admins and contractors. That was great. But I would just say if you can get to one, whether it's the convention or these smaller ones throughout the year. I think every little chance you can get to rub elbows with other people and pick up some tips is going to help the business.
Very good. Thank you, Amy. And I don't want to leave anybody out. I just saw Brian and Paul. They were right in front of me and their cameras are on. So anybody else want to share anything about convention before we move forward?
Share. Sorry,
Please
I'm outside.
But no. Please do.
Yeah.
Please do.
So I'll do a little bit different than Wednesday. Because the one thing too, I mean, if you guys came from a corporation, a company, and you go to meetings, typically a lot of times you're just showing up. You just want to be there to exist. But that's where I feel like when you go to these type of meetings and we keep on talking about it, you're your own business owner. You need to get everything out of it. So like when we say walking around, talking to people, and Tim always said it when you go to meetings, he's like, oh, I would never met this person or that. So that's what I took the opportunity. It was like, yeah, I understand it now. I mean, I need to make the effort. I can't just sit in that seat and say I was there. Like that's a waste of money for me to travel. And then the other thing, Gregory made a point of how when they talked about FFL, being one of their top. So Transamerica, Tim knows Here we have the regional vice president contacting me. And I had another little bitty question. It's not even major, nothing, no problems. And here yesterday, I had 3 people contact me right away with it. And that just showed, but that's again, where I said, you know, not going up to your upline. You guys have to start acting like the business owners and calling the companies yourself. And when you're at these meetings, you know, when you're at the meetings doing the same. I mean, it's not like somebody's forcing you to go listen to YouTubes. They're not forcing you to go to these meetings. You need to do it for yourself, for your own business. So that's all I have.
Great perspective, Christy. And I love the fact, it's funny, you posted that on our, and I didn't take it as negative, by the way. I'm glad you posted that because it keeps it real, which is how our agency is run. And you posted that. I text him. I said, did you see what Christy posted on our Slack line? I said, you should send it to the guys at Transamerica. He said, I already did. And the fact that they responded to that, that's exactly what you're talking about, Christy, running your business like a business and using those resources from a positive standpoint to help move us forward. Like you guys are on here this morning. I wish there should be 2 or 3 times the people on here to realize what opportunity that they're holding on to. You know, and again, a matter of time of getting a 4 or 5 year college degree, you could have a multi-million-dollar, that's not gonna be easy, but you could have a multi-million-dollar company that you could sell, $250,000 salary, company car, company cell phone, all those things that come with that, just for going out and helping people and sharing the opportunity. If it were easy, everybody do it, right? But again, my biggest takeaway, thank you guys all for sharing. If there's anybody else who'd like to share, just cut me off and we'll move forward. But great convention. My biggest takeaway was getting to meet some of the people that I had not met face-to-face. Gregory, top of the list, you know, there for me. Most of the rest of you guys I think I had met, but just being able to meet some of those guys, as Amy said, the weather was absolutely fantastic. Had a couple of opportunities to sit outside, you know, in Florida and have dinner where it's freezing back here in Missouri. And, you know, Dave Anderson was one of my big takeaways, excuse me, just having that killer mindset. We all have some stuff going on. I had a bunch of debt and a bunch of stuff roll up to me that I was kind of waddling in for the last few days. And we had a men's prayer group that Tim's a part of. And I think I've invited a couple of you guys to as well. But it's funny this morning, I'm like, man, thinking about, okay, I got to get all this stuff paid off. And do I just write a check for it? Like, how do I do this? And then somebody this morning on our men's group said he had $70,000 worth of debt rolled to him because somebody was being dishonest on what they were doing. And I'm like, holy cow, my little small thing, just you think you got it bad, somebody's got it worse, right? And I think that goes back to Dave Anderson and that killer mindset. So I'm going to show you guys that book. I highly recommend you get it. It's not a very big book. It's not a very, not hard to read at all. But I think it'll kind of put some things in perspective for you with your business and your personal life moving forward. So for the last time here, before we move on from convention, does anybody have anything, does anybody have any questions about convention? And does anyone have anything else to add? We'll give it about 3 to 5 seconds here. All right. So I just got a couple of things. I knew that would take about 20, 25 minutes or so. I just have a couple of things I want to make sure you guys are informed of. The first thing is we trained on it last week, the new Prosperity product. We're going to try to get Jack onto the call here in the next couple Fridays so he can go over all that. We can figure out how to get that product rolled out to all of you guys. Americo, which I'm going to show you here in a little bit, they've changed their format a little bit on their Eagle Premier product, where we can now do text. You can text the client when you get to the end of the application, and they can literally sign via text. So, you know, they don't have to worry about Zoom. They don't have to worry, because a lot of seniors don't have email, or they don't check it, or they don't remember their password. So that's another thing that we'll talk about here in just a few minutes. We'll keep today pretty short. So I'm going to share my screen, and hopefully we don't have any issues here. We shouldn't. All right, great. Okay, so we'll just start with this to keep it simple. Here on our site, underneath the Genesis in-home documents, we've now put the Americo resource site on here. So if you click on it, it's going to take you to ffl.americo.com. Believe it or not, this site has been out there for quite a while, but I don't think it was very heavily publicized, and there was some kind of quirks with the site. At the top there, they show you how many weeks are left with the You First program, which I'll talk about that here in a few minutes. Just the bonus program that they have in place, 8% bonus total of all the business you've written if you write 45,000 or more in a quarter. Just a couple really quick tips that I'm going to point out here. Highly recommend you guys, if you're selling Americo, to take a look at this site. Product information. So again, they have now, this is probably the biggest thing with Americo, they have a separate let's just call it for conversation's sake, a separate site for their final expense and a separate site for their HMS or their term products. They're two completely different sites now. Agent Cafe, for those of you guys that are new, Agent Cafe allows you to come in and actually practice the application. We only have a few carriers that allow you to do that. So allows you to come out here and practice. You can see they have a final expense app now, and they also have a term or UL or basically on their term product as well. So they are two different apps now. So if you're trying to log into the other, I know I heard somebody mention, or maybe somebody put it on Slack that they were having issues with Americo yesterday. You're probably using the wrong links. That's the reason why I wanted to put this in here today. All right, let me go back really quickly. Again, Right Business. If I click on Right Business, again, they have a couple of different ways to get in there. Quote.americo.com was actually a little bit screwy the other day, but they've got it fixed. That is where you want to go to run your quotes. Again, if you're using FFL-Go, do not use the quoting tool on there because it is not, it's not accurate unless they fixed it. But to my knowledge, it is not accurate. And you can see here, again, just a couple of different ways to get to the e-app. The top one is the new final expense app, which is Eagle Premier. And then the bottom one is for the term products. Anybody have any questions as we move forward? All right, you can order supplies. They have an Americo store if you want to purchase Americo swag, completely up to you. But just wanted you guys to know where this information is, where you can find it, etc. All right. The last thing that I want to go over, and then we'll go over numbers and open it back up to leadership. And I'll show you guys the cover of that book and everything else, is PhoneBurner. PhoneBurner allows you to be what they say anywhere between 5 to 8 times more efficient when you're making your dials. You can go on PhoneBurner.com. We have a discount, of course. I'm not pushing PhoneBurner. I just want to make sure you guys understand what capabilities you have out there. The reason why I wanted to go over this and cover this today is because a lot of times, if you're dialing a lot, your phone can be seen as comes up on people's phone as a scam, which is why some people probably call us a scam when you call them. But what this does through PhoneBurner, and I want to make sure I cover this correctly. What this does through PhoneBurner is it allows you to brand your phone. Okay. Now, hopefully you guys are paying attention to this. You can brand your number. You could put a logo, a picture of yourself. You can put up to 50 characters down at the bottom of it, as you'll see there, which I'm going to show you here in a second. So when you call your clients, it comes up as your name. If you wanted to be FFL Worldwide or FFL, Genesis or whatever the case is, you can put that on the screen. So that's what they see. By doing that, consumers are 90% more likely to answer the phone based on it being branded and non-branded, right? I'm sure that makes common sense. So this is just a short 60-second video that I'm going to show you guys, and then I'm going to let you guys know what it pertains if you guys are interested in doing this at all. Again, no one has to do this. We just want to make sure that you guys understand all the resources that you have, because we know there's a lot of stuff that flies around here at FFL. So I'm going to go ahead and play this video. If somebody can't hear this, guys, just let me know and we'll go from there. So I'm going to go ahead and start the video. There we go.
Getting your calls answered isn't easy, but let's be honest, you wouldn't pick up your own calls if your phone screen looked like this, or this, or this. The good news is that 90% of customers say they'd be more likely to answer if they knew who was calling. Thankfully, what people see when you call just got an upgrade. Say hello to Branded Caller ID. Branded Caller ID is a new feature you can use with PhoneBurner that will display details about your company, like your name, location, logo, and even why you're calling. And that can do a lot of good for your team. Get more people to answer the phone, have longer, better conversations, and reduce the risk of being marked as spam. Combined with PhoneBurner's Power Dialer, Branded Caller ID will help your team turn unanswered calls into welcome conversations and close deals.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take myself off camera here. And I'm going to give you guys a couple stats here really quick, and then you guys can open it up for questions if you'd like. So here's how this works. Let me make sure. You guys can still hear me, right? Make sure we're good there.
Yep.
I hear you.
Perfect. Thanks, GP. I appreciate it. So here's how this works. It is $50 per 1,000 calls, okay? Or it is 5 cents per call. So basically it's $1 for every 20 calls that you make. So let's say you're doing 250 dials per call session. Obviously that's going to be what, 500. So you'll be a couple thousand dials per month. You know, you're talking 50 to $100, okay, to add to PhoneBurner. All right. It takes them about 24 to 48 hours to get it turned on. I have the link that you can go and get it set up directly with them. Right now, it is supported by AT&T and T-Mobile. Next week, they'll have Verizon because they know everybody's dialing via cell phones. And the cool part about this, by working with your cell phone provider is connected to, now this isn't a PhoneBurner thing, this is a national thing. Your phone is connected to obviously your provider because that's what you're paying your bill to. But when you connect it to that, it helps with the do not call compliance, and the cell phone providers make sure that your number shows up as what you want it to show up as. So it's going to help with people picking up the phone and all those other things that you can imagine. All right, $50 per 1,000, or basically $1 per 20 calls, or you can just do 5 cents a call. All right, you can turn it on and off at any time. You do not have to apply for anything. It does not apply to text. So if you have the text feature on PhoneBurner, it does not apply to that at all. If you do happen to call a landline, it is not charged at all. Even though you make the call might connect and all that. It does not, you are not charged for landline calls. That bottom feature where you have your name. So if you want to put your first and last name or your FFL name or whatever the case is, your logo or a picture of yourself, there's a small print down at the bottom where you could put something that's 50 characters. Again, no additional charge. And obviously this helps with your pickup rate as well. So here's the thing that I've waited till the last part to make sure you guys understand this. If you're using PhoneBurner, there's two different things. The first thing is you can connect this new branding to your cell phone number through PhoneBurner. So how I use PhoneBurner is I use my personal cell phone number, because that's a number. I don't care if my clients or whoever I'm calling knows what my personal number is. I'm not doing anything bad or illegal, so I don't care. But if I connect this through PhoneBurner to my normal phone number, it's going to charge me 5 cents every single phone call I get because it's branded my phone. What you can do on PhoneBurner, which I think is like $5, is just get a phone number on that's designated just for PhoneBurner. And that way, when you're using PhoneBurner, that is only charging you when you're using PhoneBurner with that other number. Hopefully that makes sense. So any questions about that?
Yes, you were saying that if you pay, I didn't really understand that. So if you pay 5 cents per call using your own phone number, you can turn it off, or you can't turn it off. I didn't understand that.
Yeah, great question, Joshua. So you can turn it on or off at any time. But if you log in through PhoneBurner and you use your cell phone, your personal cell phone number, and you have this program turned on, this branded program turned on, it's going to stay on your phone because it's connected to the cell phone carrier with that number. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so the second way to do that is to purchase a separate number. I think it's $5 a month on PhoneBurner. You go in and pick the zip code, connect to that number, and that's the number that you'll use. So if, by the way, incoming calls don't count either. So my phone number, 314-323-2220. That's what I have connected to my PhoneBurner. If I turn this branding thing on and I leave it on, any phone call that I get, it's going to show up FFL Genesis and then my picture or whatever picture I select. And then that little saying that I would put on there, protect your family and your mortgage, whatever. But if I purchase a secondary number through PhoneBurner, that's the number that it will come up. Otherwise, when I use my phone outside of it, it's going to act just like my phone does right now with my phone number and name.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I have a question.
Yes,
I have a
please.
question, Corey.
Uh-huh.
It's Amy, by the way.
Yep.
So my question is, if you choose one plan to start with, like if I started with a 5 cent plan, but then wanted to change to the $50 plan or whatever it was, is that possible? Can you change,
Yes.
or do you stick with
Change
whatever?
anytime. Yep, you can change it. Yeah,
Okay,
I sent out a link yesterday. Great question, Amy, by the way. Thank you for addressing, letting me know who you were, even though I know. When you, if you, there's a, I think her name was Kate, I believe. I sat through the webinar yesterday or day before, whatever day it was, sat through it. I mean, there was a ton of questions and stuff that were asked. I sent the link out on our Slack page yesterday. It's about 40 minutes, and it's actually really good. It breaks down each one of the things, and a lot of the additional questions you'll have are on there as well. If you want that information, it's out there. Kate is awesome. She's pretty much the person we'll be working with to do this anyway. They're rolling it out across the country. We were one of the first IMOs that they were working with this branding, because they know a lot of people at FFL use it. Also, we have a discount if you're not on Slack. We have a discount if you send me just a Slack saying, just put PhoneBurner or PB on there. I'll send you the link, which has the discounts and everything else on there. So again, $50 per 1,000. You can turn it on or off as you want. 5 cents per call. And basically what that ends up being, that breakdown is basically $1 per 20 calls you make.
I got a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Renee.
If you're using your own phone number, and are you going to end up getting charged that 5 cents or whatever it is for every call that you make?
Two things. So you can set it up this way. You can set it up through PhoneBurner using your personal phone number.
Right.
If you do it that way, that branding is going to be on your phone all the time. Or you can pay $5. I think it's $5-6. Get a separate number that's just for PhoneBurner, and it will only charge you that 5 cents when you're on PhoneBurner.
Got it.
Okay. Good question.
Corey.
Mark. Yes, sir.
Corey, I got a little input if you want.
Yeah. No, go ahead, Mark. And then Gregory.
We started using the branding. I think Crystal started using it maybe early last week. And she's mainly setting phone appointments right now, but we're having pretty good success. And what's kind of cool about it is you can change that caller ID.
Yeah.
You know, if you wanted to call yourself Mickey Mouse, you could do that. I mean, I wouldn't recommend that, but I've just got my agency name on there now, Good Life. And that's one reason I gave my agency that name, is that I think it's a little intriguing when somebody sees that on the phone.
Yeah.
So we're having good pickup rates. I can't give you any analysis versus non-branded. We haven't tried uploading an image yet. I'm a little leery of that right now. I'm kind of still thinking about that, but
yeah,
we may experiment with that as well.
Yeah, even if it was just like, you know, a D or a GL or something like that. That way it's not just a, you know, filler space in there. But once you get your logo, then you can upload your logo into it as well. Mark, I'm glad you asked, because there was some people, and they had, obviously PhoneBurner has done some beta testing and all that kind of stuff. That's how they know the 90% higher pickup rate based on their data than it is. And a lot of your phones, I'm telling you, if you're calling people multiple times and they block your number, sometimes with some providers, if they block, you don't know it. You're probably still calling these people or texting them.
Oh yeah.
And you don't know it at all. We're going through PhoneBurner technology.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Mark.
We probably got 20 phone numbers that we use, because we don't use our cell phones for it, but nothing wrong with that. But yeah, you're exactly right. Somebody turns you in, or if the carriers see a pattern, they'll just flag you without you even knowing it.
Yeah. Could be hurting some of your pickup rate and all that kind of stuff as well. Plus, PhoneBurner just makes you so much more efficient. Like, if you're doing straight texts and all that kind of stuff, or straight, texting, calling and all that, and let's say you're hitting 30 people an hour, you could go from 30 people an hour to 60, 70, 80, 90 people an hour. Just think about how many people don't pick up. And let's say your number does get stale. All you got to do is turn that number off, pay $5, get another number, as Mark mentioned. They don't know who you are. You know what I mean? And then just continue to go from there. Mark, a real quick question, and then I'm going to swing to you, Gregory, because I know you had something to add. How often do you flip your phone number?
How often do we change them? That's more of a Crystal question, but
got it.
Early on, we were getting flagged, so we were changing frequently. I don't think she's having to do that much, because she's and we probably ought to have her on and do a little session on this sometime, just for PhoneBurner, because she knows it way better than I do. And but she's gone through all the compliance and everything to avoid getting tagged, and spent a lot of time on it. So as far as I know, we're not having to switch nearly as much as we used to. So
perfect.
If we target a new area we've never called before, obviously we buy that area code.
And it's pretty simple to buy a new phone, new area code, new phone number on PhoneBurner.
Yeah, it's really they're easy to work with. I'm very happy with them, to be honest with you.
Awesome.
So quick question. So when you're using the phone burner and they see that phone number, if they call that phone number back, you're gonna get it through phone burner and it's still gonna reach your phone, right?
You'll see typically what happens with PhoneBurner is when they call back, if you're not active in the PhoneBurner system, a lot of times it'll come back through what it does with mine is it comes back through my text. So I can see when they come through, or it'll be a random number. Now, if it's all interconnected and I'm still connected, like I'll see the name of that person. Like it literally will show up on here. Now, I'm guessing if you had a separate number where you purchased at $5, you purchased a separate number and they call, you're not going to see that because it's not connected to your phone if you're not live in PhoneBurner.
I think they go directly to a mailbox if I'm not mistaken.
Go ahead, Mark, say that again, please.
I think they go directly to a voicemail box, but I'm not 100% on that.
Yeah. But you can see all your communication and everything in PhoneBurner. You can give somebody called back. PhoneBurner is pretty awesome because it timestamps things when you called, you text, you emailed, how many times you called them. And then it has a place on there for notes where you can put, what conversation you had with them, connects to your calendar, all that kinds of stuff as well.
It also records every call so you can go back and review your style. And if there's any miscommunication with the client, you can go back. It's pretty cool.
Yep. Gregory.
Yeah. So PhoneBurner has that like automated feature. You can put all your information in there. Do you have to use that automated feature to use this new part that they added to it?
No, you could just have PhoneBurner and not have the branding. You don't have to have the branding because it's a separate charge, either the $50 a month or pay per dial.
No, so you can have the branding and not use the actual PhoneBurner rapid dial.
Not right now. Not right now. You have to go through PhoneBurner to do the branding. If that's what you're asking. No, that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking, do you have to use the automated phone dialer portion to have the branding portion? Unless I'm not understanding you, and I apologize, Gregory, if I'm not understanding you. You have to have PhoneBurner in order to use the dial, because that's all PhoneBurner is. It's just a speed dialer. And in order for you to use the branding feature, you have to have PhoneBurner.
So you do have to use the speed dialing portion. You do have to have the speed dialing portion installed to be able to use the branding. So if I had just say I put PhoneBurner on there, PhoneBurner, and I had the branding portion, can I make calls like I normally do and still have the branded portion show up when I call the numbers, or do I have to go through the speed dialing part of PhoneBurner?
You want to use manual dials is what you're asking.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. Can I use manual dials to have a logo?
I'll ask Crystal about that. I don't know.
No, I don't think you can, Gregory, because the PhoneBurner system is set up for you to click start a session and it's just going to start ripping through those. If you wanted to make a dial outside of that system, you can literally hit a button and pause it and then make your dial outside of PhoneBurner, if that's what you're asking.
Right, but you wouldn't have the logo and all of that.
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay. All right.
That's now, here's the deal. I'm going to make sure I'm clear on this. If you have PhoneBurner and you put branding on there and you brand your phone with your phone number, every time you use your phone, it's going to charge you 5 cents to people that you call, even outside of PhoneBurner. That's why I said if you're going to use it and you don't want your phone branded 24/7, I think is what you're asking. So even if PhoneBurner is turned off, but you have the branding turned on through PhoneBurner, it's going to charge you 5 cents every call you make, whether it's PhoneBurner's on or it's off, because you branded that number.
So if I make a manual call, I'm going to be charged that. Will I have that same protection? Will it show my logo and all that stuff, and not show me as a telemarketer or anything like that?
Correct.
That's exactly what I want to know. Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry about the confusion. I apologize. So for those of you guys that I just confused, 2 things. You can sign up for PhoneBurner. You do not have to do the branding. You can sign up for PhoneBurner and the branding. If you sign up for the branding and you use your cell phone's number, you use your regular cell phone's number, every call you make, whether it's through PhoneBurner or outside of PhoneBurner, it's going to charge you 5 cents per call, per outbound call. Every time you make an outbound call, let's say it's Paul Zimney and Associates, every time Paul makes a phone call, if he connects the branding to his phone number, it's going to show up Paul Zimney and Associates. It's going to have a picture of Paul with his Think Bigger hat on and whatever saying he wants to put on it, to protect your family today or whatever he puts there. Every call you make. Now, let me pause for a second. You have PhoneBurner and you have the branding turned on, but you buy a separate phone number through PhoneBurner. Okay? When you buy that separate phone number, you're only going to be branded when you're using PhoneBurner and the branding through PhoneBurner. Your cell phone will not be charged 5 cents, but when you use your regular cell phone, it's just going to be just like your normal cell phone. You're going to call and it's going to show Paul Zimney. It's going to show Amy Jenkins. It's going to show Tim Belo, Amy Hilliard, just like your normal cell phone does right now. It doesn't change anything. So
I have a
hopefully,
question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if you go the route, because I understood what the other guy was getting at, and very good point. Thank you for bringing that up. So if you go the other route, that you want to be able to have this option, but not use the auto dialer portion, can you undo it, unlink it to your phone and go with a different number if like you decide that you don't want it linked to your personal cell phone number anymore? Can you undo that?
Yeah, you can undo that at any time. Yeah, you can go into PhoneBurner and change your number at any time. Just like Mark said, they have 20 numbers. He's just paying $5 a month for each one of those numbers. You don't want the number anymore? Shut it off.
Okay, so just because I brand my phone, I'm not like stuck with it forever. I can undo it. Okay,
correct.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Yep. Good questions, guys.
Corey, what is your monthly bill for all of this?
If you do the, which the one is the one I'm on, it is, as a matter of fact, hold on, I'll just show you guys. Let me get into my contacts really quick. Let me go PhoneBurner. And let's go. Here we go. Because we have a separate code, you guys, that gives us 30% off. Okay, let me put this on my screen here real quick, and then I'll share this with you guys. Okay. I don't know why that started. Okay, here we go. So let me share my screen. All right, you guys should be able to see my screen here in like 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and boom. So here's the deal. You can, let me X out of this. If you're just gonna make dials, you're not gonna send text, you're not gonna send email, all that kind of stuff. You just wanna purely just make dials. You can use the one that's 104 a month. You can see it's normally 149, but it's 104. This is through FFL. This is a special link that we have. That I can send out to you guys. Amy, I'll send it to you if you Slack. I saw your message. If you're, and you can see, if you go to the middle one, professional, you can see that you can add up to 20,000 contacts per month. They store your records for 90 days. So as Mark was mentioning, your phone calls are all stored. So you can go back and listen to them and all that kinds of stuff. That's the biggest difference there. And then the premium one, which is the one I have, which they recommend, and I know why they recommend that one, not just for money, because it is the best one. It's got, like I was telling you, when somebody calls in, I can see, because my leads and all that kind of stuff are inside a PhoneBurner. So when when somebody calls, I can see it. I can send text messages. It stores up to 50,000 records a month, all those kind of things, unlimited call storage. So I can go back at any time and do that. So all my calls are recorded when I'm using it. And there's a bunch of other features on there as well. But I use the premium because it allows you to text through their system and send email. The cool thing about this too, they have a training tutorial that they set up just for us, which I can send you guys that link as well if you decide to sign up. But the cool part about that as well is some of the other features that are inside of that. You can set it up to where you already have a text message and an email already set up, and you can set up multiple different things. So if you're dialing mortgage leads and you want it to be one text, if you're dialing final expense, and let's say the person doesn't answer, you want to send them a different text, you can pre-write those. And at the bottom of the screen, it'll actually show those tabs. So let's say you dial the person, they don't answer, you can literally hit the button to send them a text. It'll send them your automated text and immediately start dialing the next phone number. That's why you're so much more efficient as opposed to having to send a number out or, you know, text a number in your phone and do all that. You can just do it right from PhoneBurner and just keep on going.
Okay.
Any questions there?
How many dials is this to where you're justifying this cost? Because I know sometimes you say, or you've said in the past, you know, you might dial one number 9 times. So PhoneBurner is doing that for you, but is it, I know you said 1,000 calls a month. So how many does that break down to per dial session for you to say, okay, I'm using PhoneBurner, it's dialing each number for me 8, 9 times, and I have a list of 100 numbers, 100 dials per session. Do you understand what I'm saying?
You'll get 100 dials per session done in about 75 minutes. PhoneBurner is just that fast. Think about how many people actually pick up. Now it's going to increase if you do the branding. 100 numbers, you'll whip through 100 numbers in a matter of just over an hour. So how long would it take you to do that manually? I don't know.
It took me all day to dial 100 numbers manually.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I was getting at. That's what I was getting.
So
Okay.
what's it worth for your time to be able to do that in an hour as opposed to, you know, all day? Like yesterday, I sent the picture out there. We have some new guys that I was training with. I was training with them all day. I had an appointment in between. I did a telesale. I did the telesale, came back and trained with those guys. Then I had another appointment that I drove through that wasn't there. Drove back from Illinois, back to my place. And I text a lot of people, and I sent out about 40, 50 texts. And it took me about probably 2 hours, 2.5 hours to send those 40 texts to set up 2 more appointments for tomorrow. So, but
with the PhoneBurner, are you running through your leads faster then? Or do you feel like you need to buy more to justify the cost? Or
I'm always, I will tell you this, Chester, I'm probably the worst person to ask about that because I just keep buying leads because, it's like if we were at McDonald's, this might be a bad answer, but you got to buy French fries to sell them. Unless you want to go banging on doors, you got to buy leads in order to talk to people. So there's that. One of the appointments I set up yesterday was a lead from August 21st of last year. Sometimes you just don't get them or they don't answer the phone or whatever the case is. So I can't tell you what to justify for you. I will tell you that company standard would be, that you're buying 100 leads per dial session. Do I think most people are doing that? Probably not. But I know if I look in my CRM, I've got about 8,000 leads in there. So if I set up a lead I know Michael's on here. One of the first appointments Michael set was from a lead that was 6 months old, paper lead that I had. And I said, here, call through these. And he set his first appointment on 6, 7 months old. We had one of our teammates, guy by the name of Brad. He set an appointment off of a 9-month-old lead. So just depends.
Hey, Corey.
Yes, sir.
Hey, so I wanted to ask, and I guess to help with the monthly cost situation, I do the premium? Anyway, I do the top one, and I also have 4 or 5 numbers, I think. Anyway, the total cost there is about, I'm pushing about $200. So my question is, so I started looking into the branding situation, and the only thing I saw was the 5 cents per dial or 5 cents per call. I'm like, holy cow! If you do the math, that's $75. Yeah, it can, and that's per day. So you were saying something about the $50 or 1,000 dials. Was that per day?
No. 50. It's straight. So let's say you pay the 50. You add that to your plan. You add the $50 to your plan. If it takes you 2 months to dial through 1,000, then that's what it takes. If it does it in a week, then it's $50 that week. If you needed to add more, you can simply reach out to them and add more to that plan. So if you wanted $250, you wanted $2 $50 plans, they'll charge you $100 a month, right? They charge you the $100, you have 2,000 calls, outbound call. So somebody calls you back, it doesn't charge you anything.
Because and a reason why I'm trying to, I didn't want to spend. I mean, if you do the math, it can add up to. I kind of did some figures. If you really, some people make 1,000 dials a day. Yeah. And if you were to get up to that point, and with PhoneBurner, it's definitely possible. Like you said, you can blow through them. But if you dial that many times, you're talking almost $1,000 a month, which really, if you're getting that many more people to answer, which I can 100% agree, that would make a huge difference, which for the record, if anybody is questioning whether they should get PhoneBurner, I noticed a massive difference of people who answered, because you can get different numbers, like Mark said. There's just so many different options, and I prefer not to use my own cell phone, really, in all honesty, so but yeah, in the end, that's what I was trying to figure out is justifying the cost. And I also noticed that there is a 30-day free trial. I don't know if you mentioned that or not. So
yeah, there is.
Okay.
30-day free trial for, I think they've shrunk that down. But the link that I'm going to give you guys, I think they keep that updated. It is the link just for FFL, so you can see the discount. It actually showed on there. The premium for us is $139.50 or $90, whatever it is. If you're outside of FFL, it's $199. So you're saving $70 just for being with FFL. And trust me when I tell you, a lot of people in the industry, real estate, all whatever, other insurance companies are using PhoneBurner. So another discount just for being with FFL too. Brian, thank you for saying that, coming from an agent perspective or an agency builder, because I know you have several people on your team as well. It gives it a different perspective than me or somebody else in leadership talking about it. So very good. Anything else? I did not think that this is going to take this long with this PhoneBurner stuff. So this is good. This is really good. And that's why I wanted to make sure I attended, took the time to attend that meeting, because I think it's important, especially, if you're going to do this, do it as most efficient and effective as you possibly can. And I think PhoneBurner is a great tool for that. I use it myself. So anything else?
Well, I agree with the PhoneBurner, Corey, because I just realized why I have had some attitudes given to me over the phone. Because people, if it says scam likely, that person, you already have that negative coming against you, where they're thinking you're going to scam them. They don't believe anything you say because their phone just told them. So it's weird how we do that. And I do it too. I see scam likely. I don't want to pick up. So it made total sense. And I was like, that's what happened. Because even when you tell them, no, I'm with Family First Life, this is not a telemarketing call, they're already thinking you're a scammer. So it's something I'm definitely going to be looking into. So thank you for bringing that up.
Sure. No problem. Anything else? All right, Renee, 15, 20 seconds, close us out.
All I got to say is reach out to others if you need help. Don't be afraid to mention an area that you might be struggling in, because you never know who can provide you a couple of words of wisdom and encouragement. Everybody go out there and put in the work, do the time. You keep doing it over and over and over, and you will be successful. You just got to keep at it.
Thanks, Renee. Appreciate it. Salazar, I know you're not feeling well, brother, so I'll let you go today. Mark.
Just real quick, just keep things positive, keep things simple, keep things rolling. Get better every day at something, whether it's your dialing style, your presentation style. There's so much content here to get better. It's overwhelming at times. So just pick out one thing that you think you need to work on and try to get better at that every day. And then we're halfway through the month, so it's time to get after it and finish strong. I'd like to really encourage those on the phones to really hammer it hard today and this weekend if you can, because the weather's been such that people have been inside. It's going to get cold again here, I know, in the Midwest this weekend, but try new. If you're not a weekend dialer, try it. That's all I'm saying. Try different things to make your business better. So that's all I got.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it. And Gregory, we'll close out with you.
All right. So thank you, Corey. First of all, I just want to thank Corey, Tim, and Mark for continuing to encourage me to be at this convention. All the way from last year when those guys went and I didn't go. They encouraged me from then up until now, and I'm so thankful that I went. And I did that for me. You gotta look at this business for yourself, everybody. I did that for me. I went to the convention, was there right there in the beginning, stayed to the last day because I had to see this for myself. I heard what Corey said, I heard what Chris Iago said, I heard what Brandon Kitching said, all of those great people, heard what you guys said, but I had to see this for myself. And being able to sit there and listen to all of the presentations, see people get their Hall of Fame accolades and all of that stuff. And I'm taking notes and sitting there. And when I left there, I was so pumped. I started talking to people who were in other businesses in insurance who have great teams, and I'm having meetings with them now to grow my team. Look, it's time for you to come over here. Quit playing. This is the best place to go. We need to sit down and talk. We've had Zooms and all of that. So my team is on pace to start growing because I made the decision to go and I saw this, and you can do this too. Nothing like this in the world. You want the money is there. You want to grow a team, the team is there. You want to help people, that's my biggest thing right there. The opportunity is there to do that. So let's go out there and get it, guys. Peace.
Couldn't have said it any better. Guys, have a great weekend. Thank you for your time. Thanks for all of your effort, the families you help. You might not seem like that big a deal. I'm actually dealing with a death claim with somebody right now. And it's an emotional thing to watch somebody go through that. But the other part is it makes you feel good because you're doing something that that's really, truly helping people. It really, really, truly is in their worst moment. So let's help as many families as we can this weekend. If you guys need us, we're here. Bye for now. Be safe, guys.
Be safe, everybody.
You too.
Good luck, everybody.
Corey, I'm about to call you.
Yes, sir.
Bye.